what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hammer Down Creations. This can be episode 5. So in today's episode, we're going to install the motor and motor controller and get some of the wiring done. Alright, so this is the orientation that appears in the instruction manual to install the TXT. I don't know if it's because it's a 48 volt conversion or not, but this plate does not align with any of these holes in any other orientation. So I think I'm going to screw that one in and then maybe just pick 2 other holes, drill them through, and then use the other screws and just tap it into place. Alright, so we got the 1 screw in. As you can see, none of the other holes are aligned. So I'm going to get out the drill bit and drill some holes. Alright, we'll leave that right there until I get the other one drilled out. Well, we just missed all that, but got all 3 screws put in. This one kind of sticks out a little bit, but should be alright. Enough to hold it on there. It's pretty sturdy. Alright, so next step, we're going to throw the controller on. Seen a lot of people doing it in the opposite direction as the instructions. I don't think really matters. It's just preference. Seen some people say that they didn't want any water getting down in these connectors, which I agree with. Don't know if it would make a huge deal, but we'll throw it on this way. And we'll also throw on the run toe switch right here. I'm going to leave the rest of those 4 loose so I can get all these screwed in first. Of course, it doesn't screw in that well. All right, tighten these down. That run toe in the right spot. Snug it down a little bit. I think it said 10 Newton meters to tighten these down. I don't know exactly how much that is, nor do I have a torque wrench that would go down to that. All right, well, that's probably good enough. All right, so now we're going to get the cables run to the battery. Got these protective boots right here. Slide these on here first. Then for each one of these, for now, we'll just throw a random cable on there. Getting it hooked up though later on, gonna have to pay attention to which cable is which to make sure we go into the right orientation. So there's a nut, washer, the lock washer. I'll take the lock washer and washer off, throw washer back on, then the lock washer, and then throw the nut back on there. Wait till we tighten those down to throw the boot over the top. been raining all day here, so it's very muggy outside right now, but I guess that's Florida for you. Pull the last one off. Of course, you want to make sure that it's down in that direction. So if you have it flipped over, it'll bend this connector right here. Or has the potential at least. Uh-oh. Yep. I'm sure these have a torque spec on them too, but a couple of ugga-duggas would probably be good. Try to get them as straight as possible coming out. This is not an actual impact, it's just an impact driver. Alright, so I traced these back. First one we got right here is the U cable. Got them run down behind the motor controller just to clean it up in here a little bit. Again, I'll throw these in here loosely. I think it matters more on this side that the battery cable lug there is flat. Put them in loose at first, like I said. And then we got the V cable next. Got them run through the wire run back there, but I do think that they should be a little bit loose just for suspension flex. Make sure it doesn't pull into those cables super tight. Probably want to run this one down here and then straight up. It's not too terrible of an angle, so go ahead and throw that in there. On this kit specifically, the R port right here is not used, so we'll have to get the battery plus and battery negatives hooked up. It should leave enough room for the battery plus cable to come out just fine. Alright, so these are the ones that have the 10 Newton meter stamped right there, so I'm assuming that's what these are for. I'm sure that's just a 1/4 inch ratchet tight. I hate to break one of these off. That probably set us back a little bit. Feels pretty good. Lock washers are all nice and compressed. Nothing too tight, nothing too loose. Go ahead and pop these a little bit loose just so we can pull them off next time. The hand. So I'm not sure why they stopped the protective layer on this cable all the way back here. So I threw this wire loom on there and just taped it up real quick just to protect it since it is down by the rear axle. And we're going to go ahead and throw this guy on, route it up, get it plugged in. All right, so we got that all connected up. Just ran it up here, plugged into the side of the motor controller right there. Probably going to take some zip ties and just clean this up a little bit. But that's the motor and motor controller for now. All right, so real quick, we're going to cut these battery tabs off just so we can slide the new battery in. I think I'm going to set it back here just so we have this empty space below the seat. And we got the heavy duty spring, so it should be able to handle the weight shifted back a little bit. I threw a new blade on there. So it looks like this might be the orientation that it has to go in. I wanted to put it in the back, but we can go ahead and put it in the front. See the mounting holes down there don't exactly line up. They do right there. However, the brace goes across the middle right there. So what I might do for now is just put some self-tappers here in the back and then maybe do the old ratchet strap method. Bring it around the front right here and just ratchet strap it down. Then I'll probably put some wood across the floor in there just to make it look a little bit cleaner. So today we're going to start out with getting this solenoid mounted up. So there's a hole right there, a hole right there. Like I said, this is the previous bracket that was used. I think once I get the cables hooked up, probably going to try and throw the original plastic cover over it just to protect it a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and get that mounted up and then probably run some cables up and then start hooking it up. So now that that's on there, I'm going to take this wiring harness right here, just run these cables up underneath of here, just to keep it a little bit cleaned up. Like I said, I'll probably use that original plastic cover that I took off the motor controller to cover this up eventually. I need to get these three cables, so the red, the blue, and the yellow, hooked up to the solenoid. Run tow switch is going to go up top, and then this is going to plug into the motor controller. So again, I'm not sure why, but a lot of these harnesses and everything had like half of the protective cover around them. So I went ahead and put some more loom on them, threw some more electrical tape on them just to keep them less exposed and hopefully not have one of these cables break on me. Alright, so the first cable I'm going to hook up is going to be just the one that goes here to the motor controller. Just pops into place. I think you can see, yeah, that's the part number for the 36 volt to 48 volt conversion. So if you look, just enough room right here to hook up the rest of these cables. So I'll probably have this tucked down over here a little bit, and then run these cables up right here. And then I'll take the run tow switch and I'll run it down on the outside and then bring it up here to the actual connector, or sorry, the actual bracket. All right, so we took the nut off the top, which has got the little rubber boot on. Take that, slide it in there. Looks like it's only got one orientation that it could possibly go in. Slide the rubber boot back on and get the nut on there and tighten it down. All right, so we got the yellow and blue cables hooked up. So the blue is going to be right here, closest to the bracket. Yellow is going to be on the top. The red, which I did have to put a new connector on here, is going to go on this side. I'm going to throw the cable on there first so it gets a better connection. All right, so we got the other two cables hooked up. So this cable right here is going to run up to the positive on the battery. I got this one run, loops down right here into the B plus on the motor controller, and then I went ahead and hooked this one up to the motor controller as well. That's the B negative. That's going to run up here to the negative port on the battery. All right, so now we got the reed cable right here that went to the original charger. Gonna have to put a connector on here, and then I believe it hooks up to the positive port on the battery. All right, so I'm gonna try and explain this converter and relay setup. I did watch the video on the Fentertainment page where he goes much more in depth, but we'll try to explain it in simple terms that at least I understood finally. So these are going to go to your actual load, so the original 12 volt power supply and ground on the cart. So the yellow is going to be your positive, black is going to be negative. So the black cable coming out right here, so put a connector on that. It's going to go to the ground on the battery, and then the red is going to run out here to this relay, and it's going to connect to the red, and then the black cable right here is going to go to the positive terminal on the battery. The yellow I extended out so it's pretty long. It's going to run up to the power for the key switch, and then this white wire right here is also going to run up to the ground on the battery. So essentially what's going to happen is the cart gets turned on, so the yellow wire is going to receive voltage and is going to switch this relay, so the power is going to come in through here. When the key is on, it's going to pass over to this, supplying the voltage to this, which is going to convert it from 48 volts. So 48 volts, skinnier cables, down to 12 volts for the original voltage of the cart through the thicker cables. Please let me know if that doesn't make sense. I can try to explain it a little bit better, at least as far as I know. All right, so we got the converter. Kind of just placed it down here for now. Thinking about mounting it up here on this rail. We got the previous positive cable running over here to the green cable, and then the ground cable is right here, ran to the black cable from before. Got this cable, like I said before, ran to the relay, with the other side coming out into the positive terminal, then the negative running into the white wire. The yellow wires ran underneath all the way up front. I'll probably clean that up a little bit, at least get it zip tied in. Then I went ahead and put the positive cable on with the supporting accessories, as well as the negative cable. So we're going to see if she's running here soon. Well, as you can see, we got a different orientation of the golf cart, and there's a seat on it, and maybe somewhat of a resemblance of a passenger seat. So I got everything hooked up, and I was a little too anxious and took her out for a rip. So I threw the Navitas controller down there just for now, just so I could adjust it a little bit. First run, I took it out, got it up to 24 miles an hour, and then I went ahead and downloaded the app and everything. Did the unlock on the app to release the rest of the speed and got it to 35 miles an hour. So that was verified on GPS. So now for this long weekend, we'll probably just take it around the neighborhood, rip it around, and then maybe Saturday or Sunday I'll start tearing into the front end. Still gotta do some more cleaning up here in the garage, but I wanna get all this stuff taken out, pressure washed, painted up a little bit, and then probably start throwing everything back together. All right, so that's going to do it for episode 5. So on the next episode, we're going to start really getting things put back together. Now that the golf cart is running, definitely a lot of time spent out actually riding on the golf cart instead of building on it. So we'll get those next few episodes done, and then you'll see what it looks like. Hammer Down Creations, out.